Welcome to the Artful Journey with Caprice. Today we're going to be talking about intuitive painting. Now, intuitive painting is really painting with no plan, nothing in your head. You start with a blank canvas, you put down layers and layers of paint. The paint is telling you what's next, and it will ultimately tell you when it's done. I was influenced by Flora Bowley, this book in particular, and also a Bay Area artist, Betty Krause. And they do very good intuitive paintings, and they kind of gave me the step-by-steps that I'm going to go through today, and I'm going to show you what I did. So first, I didn't really have a blank canvas, but I knew I wanted to paint. So this is a painting I did about 2 years ago, kind of sick of looking at it. So I put down 2 coats of gesso white down on it to start as my blank canvas. So on top of the white canvas, you start with black. And really this layer of black is you're just making marks, making checks, and you're freeing your mind of everything. So I actually used black acrylic paint. I also used some charcoal pencils and some really dark watercolor pencils as well, and started my mark making process. So next I picked up the color wheel, and I wanted to use cool colors and warm colors that really complemented each other. So I kind of played around with what I had in stock, and ultimately this was my palette. So after the black layer is putting down all of your cool colors. And again, it's not no plan. You're just making marks, doing swishes, I did some circles, as you can see, and some marks, and you're just filling up the page with cool colors. And let me tell you, it's gosh darn fun. So as you probably guessed it, next is laying down all your warm colors. And again, you're kind of doing the same thing. You're just doing swishes, you're just making marks, circles again, just really just laying down color, and the color's telling you where to go. It was hard for me not to call it done at this point. I really loved the chaos and the way it looked, but the paint was calling and was telling me it wasn't done. So I kind of stepped back and looked at what was popping, what wasn't popping. Some of the circles to me said they needed to come forward. I did like the yellow kind of marks there, and started playing with the warm colors and the cool colors, pushing things back, pulling things forward, and this was the next layer. The paint was still calling me, and I still needed to push some things back, pull some things forward. Kept playing with the blues, lots of blues. At first there was lots of greens, and then really the blues kind of told me they wanted to come forward, and pushing the bright orange back and making it more of a peach color, and some of the burgundies came forward as well. So for me, the paints still weren't kind of blending as well as I wanted them to. So I got out my chalk pastels, and I started kind of putting pastels down, and they really started blending more into each other, and I really liked that look. So I kind of was creating some soft edges with the colors and the chalk pastels. And of course that blue area towards the bottom was kind of calling for something. I wasn't really sure what, but then I got out a pencil and used the eraser top to kind of create some dots. To me, they looked like flowers, so they were my flowers at the bottom. So I was happy with my flowers, but then the painting told me that it was just a little bit too clean. So I got out my mark making tools again. I got out a black china marker, which is a oil grease pen. I got out my white china marker, some of my charcoal pencils, and started making deliberate marks this time. I kind of circled or, outlined the circles, I outlined the rectangles, and I was very happy, but then I dropped some drops on the painting and liked it so much that I did some deliberate drops here and there, and voila, I called it done at that point. And I'm very happy for my first intuitive painting, and definitely will be doing this again.